Hey everybody, we got a summit coming up. I'm helping out here. Angel, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. What about you?
I'm great. You've been on a bunch of calls today. I've been on a bunch of calls today. You could probably see it from the lines that are building up around my eyes. You're doing a lot better than I am as far as that goes. But I really just want to include people in what's going on. I want to let people see behind the scenes. Let them decide if this is an event that really makes sense for them to join and all that kind of stuff. But the first thing that everybody is going to need to know is when's the summit again, Angel?
September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And
Hmm.
the 24th is really aimed at a special grouping of people. So,
All right, that sounds really awesome. And I hear we're giving out bonuses for this one. So does that mean there's no free access on this one?
well, no, I mean, there's always free access because, I mean, I was a teacher for 17 years. It, it's, it's in my heart. I want to give back to the community and give back to the people around me.
Right. And I don't know about where you are, but most of the teachers that I know, they're not exactly driving around in Lamborghinis and stuff. So I'm sure it's
Not
really,
yet.
yeah. All right. Awesome. Awesome. But I want to get inside the minds of our attendees a little bit. And in general, they're new commercial real estate investors, fairly near there. And in general, they're interested in syndications or GAVs. Is that about right?
Yeah,
What's
I mean, I generally think of it as it's new and aspiring syndicators, maybe some residential multifamily. You might have a few residential people in there, kind of like just a spattering, or people that are like Jason and I. We've been in residential for 20 years, but we do multifamily too.
Mhm,
So we use the residential as kind of a store of value.
mhm,
But when I'm thinking about like the number of deals people have done, probably somewhere between one and five.
mhm, mhm.
I would assume that anybody that's done more than five deals probably isn't going to be attending. But I mean, some of those people will too, just simply out of support. So.
Great, man. And having that free part, that's huge as well. So you might as well get involved anyway. But as far as what's going through people's heads right now in commercial real estate, what are people thinking? I'll start off by saying I know that interest rates increasing over the last few months. That's on a lot of people's minds, and I think the problem with that, like dealing with that exact situation, is that people are only thinking in terms of what's gone on in the last 15 years or so. And I think that to understand how to play these current interest rates, I think you have to look closer to like a 30-year time frame. But what are people thinking about? And hopefully you can say some about the summit guests and how that's going to.
So, yeah, I was actually talking to someone just recently. We were talking about like with market selection,
Mhm,
and it's Amy Silvis, and I was like, so, what are you looking at? And
mhm,
she gave me some amazing sites to go to. It was like um datausa.io was one of them, and then the Milken Institute site was the other one.
mhm,
And free, amazing information,
mhm.
and it's current information. And that's kind of an important distinction. Not that what we're going through is so different than anything we've ever gone through. Yes, it is, but a lot of the relationship stuff is the same as it's always been. Um, but just to be able to see current data, I would venture to say that any kind of forecasting or anything done prior to the COVID era, irrelevant.
Mhm, mhm,
So you really want current data to be able to look at. And it was just really neat. And she was pointing out things like, hey, you want to look at the change from this year or from last year to this year. What's going on in the change? I think one of the things that people aren't really openly talking about is that there's been a pretty big slowdown.
mhm,
People are still looking at properties, people are still touring properties, but the final sell is getting hung up. You've got retrading going on. You got people bickering over the prices. I say bickering. I mean, I don't feel like I'm bickering, but dang it, the seller
mhm.
is not listening to me.
Heated discussions, maybe.
Not even heated. It's not even a rebuttal.
Right. There you go.
So it's just, I mean, there's a disconnect, I think. And the thing is with the current inflationary environment that we're in, the dollar is going to keep losing value. And if sales can't happen, we don't have a store of value to put our currency into,
Hmm.
because that's kind of one of the good things about inflation is, the dollar loses value, but the properties go up in value. And
Hmm.
it's nominal, which if you've read anything I've been putting out, I talk a little bit about nominal and real a little bit. Like I put some stuff out there on that, but
Hmm. Hmm.
today's dollars are nominal dollars.
Right.
But we don't in our brains think, oh, that building went up $1 million. We don't think, oh, but it's inflated dollars.
Right. Right.
Because we just don't think that way because our brains have been like programmed to think in nominal terms.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen if we can't complete sales, if we can't get things under contract and get these things taken care of. I don't know what's going to happen.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, but we definitely have the right people to discuss it with. I got the spreadsheet right here with all of the different speakers here. I know that you've already had a good chance to speak to some of them. Of course, I love that my green screen processing is making it so it's impossible to read. That's even better. So even if you try and zoom in, it won't work. But like do you want to say, do you want to like call out some names, some people who are speaking, things that have been coming up that are they're really exciting?
Um, probably one of my favorite conversations was pretty close. Let's see. It was not that long after Jason and Julian had come back from Philmont.
Hmm.
And if anybody talked to me during that time, my world was burning down around me.
Hmm.
But it was really cool because what Coach T and I were talking about is like just the stages of going through just crap.
Hmm.
And it was like I got to talk about it because I remembered it was fresh in my mind. I was like, the first thing I did, I was like, what? This isn't happening to me. This is not really happening. This can't really be happening. Then I got so angry because I was like, damn it. Every time Jason leaves town, something horrible happens. I hope he's having the time of his life because he's never going anywhere again. I'm not sure that one isn't true, still, but but it was like I was able to look at the stages and I was like, ooh, wow. We all like to think we're unique, but there are certain things that we all go through in all situations. And I happen to be pretty to the T because I could like just put it out there for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You've really like this entire process. It's not been easy for you, and that's in an industry that it's just plain not simple either. And that's been a huge thing for me as far as going like when I'm looking for people who've got sufficient integrity. It's also the resilience, and it's not like you want a whole team of photographers there in every single moment because it gets ugly, right? But you've got that resilience and you made it through, and everybody around us, like everybody in our circle knows it. It's really really something. But as far as like the real stake and not just sizzle here, so you're offering the free admission tier to everyone, but you also use this event, this summit, to be able to fill that free tier with all sorts of value. But
Mhm.
the after you get your free ticket, you can upgrade to access the live sessions then. And what can you tell our friends in the camera there about those exclusive sessions?
So there's a lot of cool things that are going to happen in those. We've got some mindset panels. We have capital raising panels. Um, we've got some stuff with teachers in real estate, some veterans in real estate, and we've got the master classes. We've got a guy that is going to come talk about like why podcasts are so beneficial, basically, and why it doesn't matter that there's a bazillion podcasts out there. Your audience may not be listening to any of those.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense for you to not use them. It's a really great tool for getting people to you. And that's one of the master classes. And then I'm it's in the works still, but I want to do a master class on how to network as an introvert.
Mm-hmm. Very
Because I
important.
think people think that they have to be better at it. And it's not so much that you have to be better at it as you need to have someone beside you that's good at it. And I can just between me and Jason, it's like introvert, extrovert. And so I not pick on him, but I can use a lot of what he's been through and just our decision for him to not work on it because it
Hmm.
doesn't make sense for him to work on it when I can network and I can talk to people, but I can't underwrite.
Right.
Well, he can talk to people, just it has to be a smaller group of people.
Hmm. Right.
And he can underwrite like amazingly. So
Right.
I
Right.
want to talk to people about that. And I'm looking at some other options for master classes too. And the master class part is really, it's really neat because it's like you're getting a mini mastermind
Hmm.
and you get to participate in it and you get to be a part of it. And that's the other cool thing about the lives is you're there.
Hmm.
It's not set up like a webinar.
Hmm.
It is set up like a meeting. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand, you can unmute, you can, I mean, I would say if there's like 30 people in the room, don't just unmute and blurt. It could get a little crazy, but you can participate in those live sessions. So that was a choice we made a couple years back was, man, if in the webinar, it's hard to really do much other than put stuff in the Q&A box.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, that's so important too, because I think too many of these event organizers, because of like how expensive it is and all the planning that goes into it, they're inclined to just think about like what they're putting on and putting out there. But I think they're usually missing one very important thing, which is why do people go to these events? You like there are all sorts of people at commercial real estate events where they don't learn a thing. Okay, they already know all sorts of stuff, but they still go. And why is that? It's because of the networking. And I think that your formula with the upgraded VIP, I think that gives them lots of opportunity to meet the other people who are in attendance. But the fact that you actually get to have a few words or ask some direct questions with the panelists like that's huge, having that kind of opportunity. Some of these people are
Yeah.
really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah. And we don't turn off the chat function. I know you go to some meetings, they turn off the chat function and you're like, oh.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always think it's funny to be in a meeting, have somebody private message me, and it's funny, and then I'll private message back, and I'm watching them, and then I see them when they read it because they smile,
yeah.
and I'm like, yes,
Right, right. Yeah, I can
it just makes
be.
you feel like you're there, right?
Right, right, right. And I can definitely be that, what do you want to call that? I only have, inappropriate terms for somebody who stirs the pot. A pot stirrer. I've been known on Zoom meetings to be a pot stirrer, especially you, because it's pretty easy to, get your one of those on this. That's fantastic. I
Yeah, I have
think,
like zero poker face.
right? That's so funny. Awesome. So this is really exciting stuff. We've been working on getting stuff going for a couple weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. We're already got all these speakers lined up, scheduled, confirmed. This is really, really beautiful. I'm really excited about this. And I don't know if you have anything to mention before I sign off. I got a little sign off here. What else is getting people excited
I
about this
would
subject?
say that like there is going to be one panel that is it's going to blow your mind, um, because it's a military panel. All of the participants are military, but for a year, 2 years now, I've been talking to my military friends. I'm like, what is your special sauce? Why don't you get ruffled? Why don't you? And finally, talking to Travis Hill, and I guess I just asked the right questions one day, and he just explained it to me.
Mhm.
And it is the reason why I think military people are so dang successful in this space
Mhm.
and just in life in general.
Mhm.
And they're going to share some of that secret sauce with us. And I'm super excited because selfishly, that's what I need to know because I can't have another life and my world is burning down around me and I can't react the same way I did because
Mhm.
it was hard. And so,
Well, you did it. It's like that whole situation, like it was completely out of your control. One company bought another company, and then the new company ended up saying, "Yeah, we're not going to do all the work that the last one did," and that's a tough one to get out of. But I don't want to take up any more of our audience's time. Thank you, Angel. More importantly, thank you for watching. If you're watching us on social media, there should be a link somewhere, like maybe it's on the screen, maybe it's down there, maybe it's in the just look around for a link, and that should have the way to get your free ticket for the Academy. Make sure you see the Academy Presents Summit. Thank you so much.
yay.
Bye. That's funny.